Let's go to the phone and bring in Patrick Saunders, and as always, our guests appear courtesy of Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. Patrick, welcome to the show. And are you enjoying New York?
Actually, guys, I am not in New York. I'm actually home.
Oh, okay. Are you enjoying home?
Well, we decided to. I was in D.C. and we decided to use a stringer in New York, and that's a management decision, not mine. That's all I'll say.
Let's start all over again. Hi, welcome to Woody and Les, and our guest is Patrick Saunders. Patrick, are you enjoying this nice day in Denver?
Yes, Woody, I am. It's gorgeous. I'm out in my backyard with my dog.
Oh, good for you.
Patrick, what do we make of that appearance by Jon Gray last night, his second Major League start? He looked really, really good, didn't he?
You know, he did, guys. And you know what impressed me most about it was wasn't just his stuff, but the fact that he went after guys. And we're so used to seeing Rockies pitchers be a bullpen or starters nibble. Except for a couple instances, Jon Gray didn't nibble. He threw the ball 97, 98, hard slider, 88, 89. He went after guys. He attacked them. And I talked to him a few days ago about what he needed to do differently from his debut to yesterday or last night. And that's exactly what he told me he wanted to do. I was very impressed by him. I thought his mound demeanor was excellent. He didn't get flustered. He seemed focused. Just lights out. I was really, really encouraged.
Citi Field was not too big a stage for him. He actually, in front of a team that is very much in the standings to be a postseason team. I have to go the other way, Patrick. You know, I'm Mr. Negative always. That's what Les gives me up.
You didn't like what you saw last night?
Well, I didn't like them taking him out. I know they're trying to protect him at the end of the year. Aren't you trying to get something out of this season? You got cargo going. Why, Patrick? He threw 73 pitches. Leave him in for a couple of more innings. He's got a one-hitter going against a team that, as I said, in a running for a postseason spot, trying to catch up with the Nats. Did it bother you at all? Or are you accepting of the fact they took him out after 6 innings?
No, it bothered me too, and I'll tell you why. I don't think this is on Walt Weiss. I know a lot of people are upset. I think it comes from above Walt. I get the pitch count. I get limiting the innings. I get that they'll likely shut him down probably early September. I get all of that. Most major league teams are doing that now. Matt Harvey of the Mets, before he had Tommy John. I understand that. It's a different era than the Bob Gibson, Don Drysdale era. I understand the long term. But my point of view last night was put him back out there for one more inning. What difference is 12, 15 pitches going to make? You're talking about wanting to develop a guy? Okay. Put him in even more heat on the big stage. Test him a little bit. Don't baby him so much. So, big scheme of things, I get the pitch counts and wanting to protect his arm, and he's the future of the franchise. But for me, what kind of message are you sending him? What kind of message are you sending the other players on the team when you take him out on an arbitrary pitch count when he's throwing so well, give it to a crappy bullpen, and essentially say, okay, well, we lost the game, but at least we protected Jon Gray.
Well,
it bothered me a lot.
Patrick, you're telling your guys that this season is lost. This season is gone. We're not playing for anything. Now it's just a matter of developing kids for the future. But isn't that the reality of the situation?
It is, and everybody knows that. I mean, the Tulo trade was the ultimate white flag. I get that, and it is for next year and 2017 and 18. But my point, Les, would be, you're talking about developing a pitcher. Well, in my mind, the step toward building Jon Gray to be your supposed ace of the future, throwing him out there one more inning in a tight game last night to succeed or fail would have been a really good building block.
Yeah, toughen him up mentally is what you're saying.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And to just arbitrarily say, okay, well, 75 pitches and you did good, buddy, but you know what? This is our policy. We're sticking to it. It really rubbed me the wrong way. I understand the big picture, but you can't always be so arbitrary. In my mind, it's one of the biggest failings of this organization. They are so concerned about process, sometimes they forget about the results count too.
Patrick, I hope you're right about it for Sunday. I was offended. Am I personally offended? No, but I was offended that this team thought so little of a young man that's starting his first game in New York City on a bigger stage than Coors Field against a team that has played so extremely well at home. I think they're like 38-18. You're in a game, you got a 2-1 lead. This is how you develop players that you draft. Put him in the heat of the moment and let him see if he can get out of it. As you say, 90 pitches. What's the difference between 73 pitches and 90 pitches? If you wanted to rest him this year, you should have been resting him down in the minors before you got here. Jason Jennings, we talked about this recently, had one of the greatest debuts in Major League Baseball history. He goes into New York City against the Mets and strikes out 10 or 11 and has a great moment and goes...
complete game shutout.
Yeah, complete game shutout.
And hits a home run.
Patrick, I don't know whether you remember that. You were around. You were covering the team. Do you remember that situation with Jason Jennings? They didn't take him out then.
I do remember. And I get that they have changed their outlook. They've done all the studies about the effective altitude on pitching, and I get that the attrition on pitchers who pitch in Colorado is probably worse than anywhere else. I understand all of that. But you know what? These guys are competitors. They're not just commodities. They're not just for the future. I'm sorry, but I mean, I know Jon Gray said all the right things last night, but I can tell you, he probably went back to his hotel room thinking, man, if I'm supposed to be the ace, why don't they treat me like an ace instead of like a piece of china? I'm sorry, it bothered me a lot.
Let me ask the two of you this. He threw one bad pitch the whole game. Threw a one-hitter.
Solo home run.
What if there hadn't been a home run? Do you think, Patrick, they would have taken him out with a no-hitter?
Oh.
I do.
You know what? Probably, maybe not quite as quickly. Maybe they let him go one more inning. That's a great what if. I don't think they let him go 9 and throw the no-hitter. I don't.
That is an interesting thing. That's why I said I think you should examine this further, and because I'm going to now tell you the next thing. You think that came from above. Jim Tracy quit this team as a manager. They might not have been as bad as they are now if Jim Tracy had decided to stick around. He quit this because of interference above. Is Walt Weiss a guy that's going to put up with where he cannot put a pitcher out there and leave him in a game beyond the 6th inning?
I think he is for now. I do think Walt has got more input than he did 2 years ago. But I still think he's fairly accepting of, not always happily, but at least publicly accepting of the edicts from above, be it Jeff Bridich or whoever. The truth of the matter is, I think when Walt came on board, he simply didn't have the credentials, and he certainly didn't have the feel for the game that Jim Tracy did, particularly when it came to how to use pitchers. Jim Tracy was pretty masterful at that. I think Walt was basically, at that point when he was hired, was more than willing to defer, because I'm not sure he had the confidence to really trust his own decisions. I think he's at that point now where he has more confidence, and I wish I was in New York covering the team, because I'd be asking Walt these questions today about where exactly did that decision come from. But to answer your question, I think Walt still grudgingly toes the party line.
He's Patrick Saunders. He writes about baseball for the Denver Post, and all our guests are brought to you by Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. Patrick, a lot of people think that when July 31st comes and goes, that's the end of trading, because that's the official trading deadline. But you can still make trades if you can get guys through waivers. And I'm wondering, are you hearing anything? Are the Rockies active at all on the phones? Might they end up dealing a player or two before it's all said and done?
You know, guys, when the trade deadline came and went, and Tula was a big move, I still had an inkling that the Rockies might try to move Cargo, although getting him through waivers and everything, considering how hot he is now, be pretty problematic. If they do anything between now and the end of the month when trading ends completely, I think it would be minor. I could see maybe somebody trying to get Willeen, Rosario, maybe some other minor moves, but there's a lot of speculation that at some point they'd move Cargo. I don't see it now. He's in such a good place. He looks reborn. I think Dick Monfort sees that. He likes Cargo's star power. So I don't see it. I know a lot of people have said, well, they got to get rid of Jose Reyes. But he's making more the next 2 years than Tulo is. I think $22 million. I don't see who's going to take up that salary unless the Rockies eat a lot of it. So I don't see any major moves coming.
One final question, Patrick. Thank you for spending time with us. If you were in charge of the world or the Colorado Rockies, would you be content next year? Let's forget about the pitching for a second. Would you take Corey Dickerson, Charlie Blackmon, Cargo, Arenado, Reyes, LeMahieu, Paulson, and Hundley and go to battle next year?
Yeah, I would. I think that's a pretty salty lineup, especially if Corey Dickerson's healthy. Yeah, I would. I think they need help on the bench and depth, but I think their lineup. I was in St. Louis weekend before last. I was looking at the two lineups. I'm thinking, you know what? Rockies' lineup is every bit as salty as the Cardinals is. It's all about the pitching. But no, I think this lineup is still a contending lineup. It's all about the lack of pitching in my mind.
Patrick, thanks. Enjoy the rest of your time off.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Patrick Saunders of the Denver Post. All guests brought to you by Papa John's. They are the official sponsor of the Colorado Rockies. The day after every Rockies win, unfortunately not today, you can get 50% off your regular online order at papajohns.com. So go to papajohns.com and use the promo code ROXWIN, ROXWIN.